should you be getting paid? Don't undercut the rest of the industry. No one will advocate for you like you. If you love theater, if you have to do theater, pursue it. If you don't.
Okay, you guys, I am so excited for this episode. I'm sitting down with Gena, a freelance dancer and aerialist who has built such a unique career across cruise ships, contemporary companies, and freelance gigs. And this conversation honestly opened my eyes to how many different paths there really are in this industry. We talk about everything from transitioning out of college to the reality of cruise ship contracts to how she's been able to create consistent work for herself as a freelance dancer. We also get into the parts of that career people don't always talk about, like advocating for yourself, understanding your worth, and navigating the business side of being an artist. If you've ever felt like there's only one way to make it in dance, or you're in a season where you're figuring out your next step, I think this episode is really going to shift your perspective and give you a lot to think about. And if you do enjoy it or have enjoyed any of the other episodes, it would mean so much if you shared this with a friend or someone who's in that same phase right now, and make sure you're following the show so you don't miss the next one. You guys, welcome back to Kicking It Real. I'm here with Gena Brady, fellow UMU alum, freelance dancer and aerialist. She's performed in so many different facets, seen the world performing on cruise ships, and she has a lot of knowledge and wisdom to share with us. So welcome, Gena, to Kicking It Real. Thanks for being here.
Thank you so much. I'm excited to be here. Thank you.
What have you been kicking it with lately?
What have I been kicking it with? I think a lot of I've really been in my grind, like my cross training grind. I've really been weightlifting a lot, training a lot. Just like I've had this, like, I'm going to be a monster. I want to be a muscle mommy. Like I want to really like go in and be really, really strong and be able to do anything with my body that I want to do. So I was like, after this last contract, or during this last contract and kind of after, I was like, let's go all in on this weightlifting thing. Let's see what it has to offer. And I'm not looking back. Like I'm on this train now.
The way that I'm like a little bit laughing about this, because when I think of you, like you've always been so strong, like since college, probably since you came out of the womb. I don't know, but you've always been strong. So, but I understand like the difference of the intentionality behind it, but it's just that anyone listening to this that also like personally knows Gena specifically from college, you're probably laughing with me because you've always been strong. But love that for you. We'd love to cross train.
That's so funny.
What are you kicking to the curb?
Kicking to the curb. I think this is so cliche to say, but I'm going to say judgment on pathway, like trajectory on life. I feel like I'm kind of doing things in my own way and I'm not judging myself for the paths that I choose. So I'm just doing away with noise. What are people thinking? What are other people doing? Because if it doesn't serve me, I don't know if I want to care about it.
I feel like maybe it's the late 20s, early 30 range of like feeling that, because I've also over the past few years been feeling that, but also I don't know how into like astrology you are, but the different from what I've seen on the internet, not for sure, but it's like the years of the shedding and the becoming or whatever. So I don't know what it is, but I feel that, and I love that for you because you've lived a really cool life, which we're going to get into.
Thank you.
I don't want to spend too much time on college, but I just have to because it's just like our time. Just for everyone listening, could you give like a brief overview of kind of your growing up with dance and then what made you choose Western or choose to major in dance?
Yeah. So I've danced my whole life. I trained at one studio in the suburbs of Chicago my whole life. Loved it there. I had really great parents. I have really great parents. I don't know why I said that past tense. They're alive.
They're here with us.
But my parents really encouraged me to love something every day, for the grind of it, for the practice of it, fall in love with the process. That's kind of the mantra that I sort of grew up with. So dance kind of really solidified that, and then decided, okay, I think I'm good enough. I have this passion. I don't see myself letting dance go anytime soon. You know, what is the future in dance for me? So found Western Michigan University through Ashley Guest. You should definitely have her.
She hasn't emailed me back. So Ashley, if this airs and you still haven't, she's like, yeah, I want to come on. And then
come on, Ash. I remember specifically she was at this table. I'm at my parents' house. Like she was sitting here and my parents were like, so Ash, like, where are you going to go to college? Where are you looking? And she's like, Western Michigan. And they're like, you should look there. So literally she's the genesis of where Western like came about in this house. And then college, majored in dance, auditioned, and then got my BFA. I think that was a junior year process, and graduated with my BFA. And college was a roller coaster. College was up and down for me. It started really good, then it got really bad, and then it got less bad. I graduated kind of like, okay, done with that. See you later or never. Yeah.
What a great explanation of that. Like, that's real. And it's also funny too, because talking to quite a few college fellow WMU people, it's so funny to hear people's internal experience versus their external, and to see people that even on the outside, when they look like they've got all the opportunities and they're so confident and they love everything, that there's still an internal battle. So I feel like it's just also like a college dance, that age thing as well, of like figuring it out. But we made it. We made it through. I love that. If you had like one big takeaway from college, or like lesson, like what do you feel like it did for you majoring in dance?
So much. I mean, college is for me a massive learning experience, and um it doesn't stop there. I got maybe halfway through college, or no, after college, I realized, wait, I'm still progressing. I'm still getting better. Because for the longest time, I thought college was your peak. I don't know why I thought that, but after college, I was like, I'm getting better. How long can I be getting better for? This is great. Like, what if I was this good in I don't know. I was kind of, I think, just rolling with punches, not taking things too personally, even though I definitely did. Building my thick skin, being
Easier
really
said than done.
resilient, easier said than done. For some reason, I always, maybe it was growing up in Chicago and taking class, and you're right.
Sorry. No, yeah. Well, I forgot. So I forgot I was exporting a different episode, and it like finished, and then it just shouted in my ears. I'm so sorry. I was like, whoa, and then I
It's
didn't know if you
okay.
could hear it. Okay,
It's
sorry, keep
okay.
going.
No, I'm glad nothing went wrong. My God.
No.
Um, no. So after building thick skin, not
Yes.
taking things too literally and too personally, and growing up in Chicago, being exposed to so many dance companies, for some reason I realized college dance isn't the real world. Like, this is just happening here. Whether these people, my professors, my colleagues, like me or not, I'm going to leave. So it almost doesn't matter. It matters, but it doesn't. And I don't know why I knew that, but I knew that.
That's really great. Maybe it's because I specifically remember professors saying that, like, this is not the real world, but I don't know what it is. I mean, you're just in a little bubble, so it's just so consuming, and it feels like everything is end all be all. But I also feel like you sound like you had a like very good outlook on it, but your parents kind of raised you that way, which what a blessing. And it's probably why you have the career you have, because you knew to fall in love with the process like at an early point, and we're just like, wow, I can keep getting better. So that is so cool. When you were done, then you're out of college, you were like, I'm still getting better. Did you have anything like specifically that you thought you wanted to do, or any specific goals or places you wanted to live, or were you just like, meh, see what happens?
Yeah, a little bit of both. I think I knew if I had one goal, one company, one job, that would be a recipe for disappointment. I was like, I need to keep the scope broad, but I need to keep the goal. Like, I want to be a professional dancer. I want to be paid to perform. I want to be paid to dance. So that means, I think, auditioning for companies and doing company work at first. So I didn't get every single audition in college. There were a few that really hurt that I didn't get. And so, but after college, if I had a rule, like if I knew about an audition, I was going to go, or I was going to apply, or I was going to figure out how to go. And if I knew about it, I was going. And I think I got 4 company offers at once.
Which
I don't,
ones?
it was Trifecta. It
uh,
was Wellspring. It was Aerial Dance Chicago. That was later in the summer. And that was, maybe it was 3. There could have been one more. I don't
I
remember.
believe you. No, that's incredible. Wow.
But I was like, okay, maybe I'm okay. Maybe I'm gonna be.
The enigma. Wow.
So I was like, okay, this feels good. I auditioned for ended up getting Trifecta at, like, start of the summer. Um and danced for them for like maybe a few months. Realized this isn't my tea, this isn't my zhuzh. And then my boyfriend at the time was like, you don't seem very happy. You should keep auditioning and and I was like, well, I'm already in a company. Like this is all I've ever wanted. Like I literally like my vision was so short.
Yeah.
So back to your question, I didn't have one company, one thing. I wanted to be in Visceral so bad at the time. Visceral so bad. I realize now that wasn't going to be happy for me. That wasn't going to be good for me. But found Aerial
Yeah.
Dance Chicago later in the summer, and that wasn't exactly what I had in mind for myself. Having never really done it, I took one class the previous summer in 2017,
I
but
think
I was open-minded.
was I literally have a note down. Like, I'm pretty sure I was at that audition with you. Like, it was like Tara and Ash was there. I don't know who else was there, but like, do you,
Yeah,
and
Savannah,
yes, yes, Savannah,
Savannah, you.
listen, because Ashley and I remember us in the back because like I had never done aerial. Okay. And also let's all go back to the beginning of this episode not long ago to where I said Jenna's always been strong. Like you've always been strong and like ready. And Ashley and I were in the back, like we couldn't barely lift ourselves up. And like not even, yes, a strength thing, but also we were just like, what are we doing? And I remember you being in the front, just like, I'm like, look at, like you were like a little fairy, like flying in the air. I was like, look at Jenna. Like you were like
Had no idea.
you were in your element and you didn't even know it.
Had no idea. I
It
was
was
just like, I've done this once. It was fun once. I'm gonna go and just see and just be open-minded, and we're just gonna see because I need a job. I want a better job that I like.
like I needed a job. That's iconic. How long were you with the company and what was that like?
Yeah, it was great. It was 4.5 seasons. No, 3.5 seasons, 2018 to 2021. And it was awesome. I always attribute them to have like giving me a really great foundation in aerial and a lot of different apparatus in silks, in lyra, in sling, which is like the aerial loop, some ground apparatus as well. But it was a really great, it was the aesthetic is very specific, very contemporary dance, but in the air. So I did that and I thought I was going to stay there forever. Like I loved it. I was like, this is it. This is so me.
Like,
Like,
yeah.
love this.
What made you then shift and feel that you needed to make a change?
Truthfully, nothing. I just had that rule still of like, if I know about an audition, I'm going to go. So I saw a Royal Caribbean audition and I was like, I'm going to go. So I went to that and I had zero expectation of booking anything I was like, I have friends that have followed that company around in their
Yes.
audition circuit. Like, like if you don't know, Royal Caribbean will, and a lot of other cruise companies, tons of them will do audition tours all over the United States and the world. And you can go and follow and go to each audition in every city if you really wanted to.
Yeah.
And be considered equally, even though you've been seen 3 times, like you can still be considered again, which is good. So I had friends that have been doing that and I knew they were doing that. And I'm like, well, I'm not doing that. I'm just doing this one because it's 5 minutes away from my house. Because it was in Chicago.
Because it's on my list and then we're just going the
I was
vicinity.
like, we're just going to, right.
Wow.
And I was like, it's a Thursday. I'm free. Like, okay, we're going to go. And then, the rest is history. They put me on a hire list, which I was like, well, a lot of my friends are on the hire list. Doesn't really mean anything. And then a month later, they sent me a contract, and I was like, oh no.
Okay.
No.
You're like, what just happened? I mean, because you just follow where your gut is telling you to go. Were you actively auditioning then throughout the whole time you were with Ariel, or was it just kind of towards that? No, just whenever randomly.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Yeah, just randomly.
Just like, okay, I'm just gonna go. That's so,
Mm-hmm.
I've never, in a good way, I've never heard of like someone being so open and future oriented, which maybe because you weren't like that in college, you said, like so future oriented of like, okay, like let me see what else is out there, even though you're already happy, because I feel like so many people wait until they're not happy to be like, okay, now what? And then that's kind of, and then you lead from like that place where you're not desperate. You're just like, here I am. Like, which I think a lot of people in life have a hard time like grasping onto that like energy, that feeling. but you still have aerial with you though in life though, which we can like get into that a little bit later. But if we want to go into cruise ships, so you literally
Let's do it.
you went on the cruise. What was it like? Like what is it? What is it saying? Expectations versus reality.
Again, like I didn't have any expectation. I was just like, well, the itinerary is incredible. I reached out to a lot of friends from Western that I had known that had done ships before. Like I'd reached out to the Matar twins, Katie Matar, Ali Zajac, who else? Erji Bernath. Like I reached out to all those people and I was like, help me. You're the cruise queens. Like, what do I need to know? What do I need to do? And they helped me a lot. And that was tough for me to ask for help because I didn't really know what to, but I was like, I need to ask for help. And the expectation was sort of, I'm going to see how it goes. I've heard if you're in, you're in. We'll see if that's true. In terms of like when you book a contract, you just tell them when you want to work again, and then they give you another one, and they give you another one, and they give it for as long as you want. So that was kind of what I've heard. I've heard from so many people that the life is great, the money's great. So I was kind of like, all right, like grain of salt, we're going to see for myself. And the reality was this one was a tough one because of circumstance. We were returned to service from COVID. I took this contract, began, and it actually delayed. The contract was delayed a few weeks. So I didn't start until 2022, February of 2022 on the ship. Didn't get to go to rehearsals in Miami. We did rehearsals on the ship to minimize COVID.
Exposure,
so that limited like the community. Like you get to meet so many people in the studios and you get to network. So we didn't get that.
Yeah, it's not the authentic experience.
Not the authentic experience. And install was hard. We did not get a day off.
What's install? Tell us. I know nothing.
So install is, in normal terms, when you're done with rehearsals in the rehearsal studio, you take and you learn the show in the studio. Then you take it and then you basically have to install the show in the venue at the theater, wherever you're going to be. So because we didn't have rehearsal studio, we had studio and install at the same time. So we were learning it and staging it and costuming and teching all at the same time.
So you basically went straight to dress rehearsal from nothing.
Knowing nothing.
That's crazy. And you're like trying to acclimate probably as a cast and on a ship and with all of the different tech elements.
Right on the nose.
Wow.
Yes.
Wow.
It was a lot. It was crazy. 8 out of the 12 of us, our cast, were new to ships. So none of us knew what was going on. It was crazy. It was really, when I tell people, they're like, whoa, it was crazy. It did get a lot better though. We just had to like see it through to the end, get the shows out, open. Our installers left, which are the people that teach us the shows. And we just had our schedule. And from then it was really great. We traveled a lot. We got off in port. We got to enjoy new cities every single day, food, drinks. And it was like 14-day cruises, 12-day cruises sometimes. We performed twice, which is on Royal, more or less the norm. We should have had one more show, but because of COVID and whatever reason, we only had 2 shows. So we only had the 2 shows, fine. On this last contract I was at, it was 6 days a week, 2 shows every single night. Much more
wow,
performance.
Very different. Yeah.
Very different. Still very good. And yeah, it was tough. People were out. When the install's over, then you're in your schedule and you just perform. Then you get into the territory of people missing because of COVID, people quarantining because they're close contact. Like, you remember all that? Like, if you were close contact.
Sure do.
So if someone in the cast was positive, who's close contact? The whole cast. Or
so then would they just cancel the show?
I can't remember if we canceled any shows, but we did have like a considerable amount of people out.
Like partial cast, like let's adjust. Yeah.
We would have to reblock the show. It's called a reblock. So I'm not joking, I think we had 100 reblocks, which are different versions of the show, different people out, different scenarios. And you just know the show so well. Like, doing the same show. If there's a little tweak that has to happen, you have to be now.
It's hard. It's almost harder than learning a new number because it's so in your muscle memory of what you need to be doing. And then you're like, actually, no, you're going to be on the 7 instead of the 8 for this ripple that I've done 100 other times. And it's like, muscle memory is a crazy thing. I mean, your swing brain, you were ready to go. Are there swings on cruise ships?
In our company, no. Who's the company that has swings? I think it's Norwegian. I want
Mm.
to say it's Norwegian. They'll hire a swing and you'll know you're the swing in your contract. You'll go to the rehearsal studios, you'll learn the show as a swing, and then you'll go home and everyone else goes on the ship. And if something happens, you get called and you're like, you're on there. I think that's Norwegian.
Interesting.
I hope I'm not wrong about that. Yeah.
Well, don't quote her on it, everyone. Interesting. Oh my gosh. That it's just like a different world, I feel. Um it we on your little thing before this, you talked about different types of contracts, which I'm assuming were all probably within Royal as well. But there's C3 directors and major cruise installers, which is so interesting because now I was like, installers, I was like, oh, she must mean like all the equipment. But now you use the word. Okay, great. What is that for someone? And by someone, I mean me who's listening that doesn't know what any of that is.
So I think I think what I was referring to about that question was working with different types of people. So I've worked with company directors that are like nonprofit company, which is what a lot of dance companies are. They're 501c3, they're non for profit. Most of them are that in Chicago, so they can take donations and things of that nature.
Yes.
And those people are operating in a business that's very different than for-profit cruise industry. Many people on the totem
Yeah.
pole. So different. So it's just a matter, I don't want to say, so it's just a matter of learning what the goal is. What the goal is for the, like, what are we putting on a performance that's gonna make the company money so that we get grants and so that we ensure that we have another grant for the following year. It's a lot of pressure.
Yeah.
Are we doing a lot of the legwork of like some people have to do other jobs in like 501c3 in
Yeah.
dance companies, like they'll take on other responsibilities besides dancing. They'll take on teaching duties or marketing duties or things like that, and usually they're compensated for that. It's not free labor. But when you're a dancer on cruise ships, sometimes you have to be company minded of like, now you're corporate. Now you have to act a very certain way. People pay a lot of money to come on the ship and watch you. So you kind of have to keep those things in mind. Not that any one or two audiences are better or worse. It's just like, how do I need to operate? How do I need to be? What is the goal here?
Yeah.
Sometimes the goal is making money. Sometimes the goal is creating art. And
It's so
sometimes it's both.
yeah, it's so interesting because I've never had to think of it in that way. And there's probably different pressures from both scenarios in different ways. And I've never like talked to someone who has experienced both because my
Like on the
experience
ship,
obviously, well, yeah, just in general, because I mean, I feel like a lot, if you're in the more musical theater-y, Broadway world, it's a lot of the like company corporate type vibe versus
the show must go on.
correct.
You cannot, there is no canceling. The
No.
show must go on. How are we going to make this show
How are
happen?
we going to make it
Whereas
happen? Yeah.
you have all of these people that are like, no, we're making money off of you. So you have to perform. Whereas 501c3, maybe like a little bit more like mom pop dance companies,
Yeah.
there's a lot more leeway. If something's not right, if someone's out, maybe there's a little bit more like person to person that can help you. Or if you're, I don't, there's a lot more.
There's less people, I feel like there's less people to go through. It's just like one direct
Yes.
channel versus like, okay, well, I have to go talk to this person and that person's boss has to tell them, you know what I mean? Versus just like, okay, I'm in charge, I'm running the show. Like, I can deal with
Like
it
the installer
personally.
on the ship is not the director. The installer is just teaching you the shows. And they're trying to relay the shows exactly how they're being created. They didn't even create the show pretty much.
Right.
Most of the time. They're just relaying the show. There's 3 or 4 other tiers of people that call the shots. Whereas in a dance company, you're pretty much working with the director. They're choreographing, they're wearing all the hats.
Yeah.
It's just bigger scope.
Bigger scope. Do you feel like having worked for and performed for both types of companies, are there certain ways that you, I don't want to say carry yourself, but maybe navigate different situations, or maybe you speak up for yourself more in one than the other? Talk to us about that a little bit.
Yeah, I would say I really try to carry myself in the most professional manner at all times in both scenarios. Everyone deserves to have a reliable dancer, have a reliable employee. So I try to be that. I really only try to speak up when I feel directly, like especially with aerial, directly impacted, something is unsafe, something feels unclear, and I feel that it's important for me to propose my questions in a way that's helping me understand and not you're doing this wrong. Or
Yeah.
even if I kind of feel like that in my head, I'm like, you don't know. I try to ask those
Yeah.
questions in an open-ended way to be like, do you know what we're dealing with here? Because people are in the air, people are being lifted, like people's lives are in your hands, in your
Quite
apparatus,
literally. Yeah.
in quite literally. So I would say in those big cruise companies, that's kind of what I'm more familiar with just recently in the past. I have to advocate for myself in a much louder way because it has to go through so many more tiers of people to actually be heard sometimes. So it's not that no one's listening. It's not that they're not doing anything. It's just I have to advocate because I'm on the stage and it's my body and it's my safety that I'm advocating for. And it has to project that way through all these different people so that it gets heard and something gets done now and
Yeah.
not when it's convenient. Like this has to happen now. Whereas I think in the smaller dance companies, I don't have to advocate as hard. Like I can say something once, hey, I'm not safe with that, or I don't feel good with that, and something will get done, or I'll feel better about it immediately because this person that I'm talking to is also the rigger and is also the choreographer and is also the director, you know?
Yeah, they wear all of the hats. That's interesting too. And I feel like it could have been an advantage to have had that experience and get comfortable with being able to advocate for yourself in a smaller environment to then now being in a bigger, more corporate-y environment, because it is a hard thing to do. Like,
Hmm.
I think especially as dancers and performers, we are so used to having to just say yes to everything and you don't question anything. And, I feel like we're just getting out of the like asking questions in class is okay. Like there's still
Hmm.
some of that fear, let alone going to a boss and having a safety concern. And that way, have you had any success having to do that? I guess I should ask.
Yes,
Yeah.
yes. People don't want you to feel safe on stage or unsafe on stage. People don't want you to feel like you're watching your back. So I think when there is a really valid concern that's been brought up, I feel like it's been heard. I feel it's sometimes causes a big thing and you have to just be like, "Okay, I'm causing a big thing and it's fine." Because at the end of the day, it's going to make me and the people after me
Yeah.
feel better, like
Do you
feel safe.
Do you feel like a lot of people have the courage to do that, or in your experiences, have you been kind of like the ringleader for that?
I'm kind of in the middle. I'm in the
Okay.
middle. I kind of am in the mind of like I want to work. Like I want to make the show happen. I'm not trying to cancel the show. I'm not trying to make things difficult. I'm coming from a place of I want to do my job and I want to do it well and I want to do it under safe conditions. And I don't think that's too much to ask. So how do we make it work? How do I communicate my needs better to you so that you know where I'm coming from? Because that's where I'm coming from at the end of the day.
No, 1,000%. I love that. If someone was listening to this and they're like, oh, I am in a situation like that right now and I don't know what to do or who to talk to, what advice would you give them for that?
Yeah, I would ask if you have a cast member, like a trusted cast member that you're like, "Hey, have you been feeling this way? I've been feeling this way." And if they're kind of on board and if they're like, "I've been feeling like that too," or "No, like do you can't, bounce things off of your immediate peers, your immediate colleagues. You most often will have a dance captain or a production manager that is there for you.
Mm,
They're on your side. They want to make it happen for you. So if you're like, this has been feeling really unsafe, this person is feeling really unsafe, these behaviors, this and that, I want to voice my concern just in case it escalates, because then just voicing that will trigger them to be like, I need to pay attention to that more because Gena doesn't
yeah.
really talk like that often. So if she's okay, I'm gonna pay attention. Talk, talk. You won't get in trouble. You won't get in any sort of like pickle. You're not gonna get
Yeah.
fired. Just voicing hey, I've been experiencing these behaviors or these events that I'm not okay with. Can you shed some light, or can you keep an eye on this for me? I just want to let you know this is happening. I don't know what to do. And you can kind of just leave it up to them.
Yeah.
Because sometimes you can't do anything, and that's all you can do.
Yeah. Gosh. Well, that's good
I
advice,
know.
though. That's good
Yeah.
advice, which we love. Um,
It sounds like there's a lot of problems. There
no,
aren't.
no. Yeah.
It's great. But like, it's just important to voice how important your safety is, and no
No.
one will advocate for you like you.
I wanted to talk about your freelance cool gigs that look amazing. And also, while we're on this, how do you find them? Like, as someone who maybe is fresh out of college, like, how do you go about even the cruise auditions, company auditions, all the gigs? Like, what was your process like for all that?
So gigs are a huge network and word of mouth type of a thing. So a lot of the gigs that I've gotten is actually just from being in class and talking to people and being in the community, and just being a solid, consistent dancer in class. And people will find you and people will DM you and say, hey, I don't know if you do this, but I have an event coming up and you seem like you'd be good for it. Do you do ballet? And it's like, yes, okay, awesome. And then it kind of flourishes from there. So sometimes it's luck, sometimes it's right time, right place. Sometimes it's just doing your research, Googling production companies in your city, finding the director, and like cold emailing them.
Yeah.
So,
Advocating for yourself, whether it's
mhm,
bad things happening or you want an opportunity. I love that.
yeah, absolutely.
And just like saying what you want. Do you have a favorite thing that you've done? Or
Man,
one that you like had to say no to because it was like so out of your like realm?
oh, yeah, great questions. I feel like every opportunity, every event gets better and better. Like, I love the ones where I get to travel and I get flown out and I go to Florida and I do cool things. And some of the things I like can't talk about, like I like, signed an NDA about it and I can't talk about it. So
Which you just have to say
that's
you have to
fun.
sign an NDA to do cool things. And we're like, okay, we believe you. That's cool. Whatever it is.
But I love gigging because it's exact opposite of cruise work. When you're on a ship, you're told this is your show, this is your costume, this is what you do, this is your schedule. Sign on the dotted line if you're good with that. You're here for 9 months. On gigs, it's sometimes like for my aerial gigs, I'll get email or I'll get a text from somebody and they'll be like, "Can you do aerial sets at this place at this time? Wear something like this. If you don't have it, let us know. If you do, send us a picture." And we just want to elevate the event and elevate the entertainment. And they don't care. They don't care what I do. And I just get to be sparkly and like be work on I definitely do not throw things that I have never done before. I only do sequences that I'm very comfortable with and that I've been, but each gig I try to challenge myself to learn a new sequence for each event so that I keep my rep like fresh, and I have some oldies, I have some newies that I will throw in.
I love it.
And it's a lot of that. It's a lot of just like being self-sufficient, being your own boss, and being able to kind of fill in the blanks of bookings that, like, if you're used to being told every single detail of the
Yeah.
thing, sometimes you have to be like, do they want me to costume myself? Do they want, like, I don't know. Like, so you have to fill in the blanks and jump ahead. And I'm going to bring 4 costumes. And if they don't have one for me and they're like, oh, did you bring anything? And you're like, yes, I did. I have 4 options for you. And that's always nice to kind of read people's minds. What are they going to need from me? What are they
Yeah.
going to want from me? Be over prepared. So it's opposites. My
I'm
life is sort
sure,
of opposites.
I'm not sure actually. I would imagine that there's a different like range too, maybe of gigs where some it's like very, very clear, like crystal clear, like we need X amount of time. We need you. We have a costume. We have this. And then there's some where it's like, yeah, come between this time. And you're like, when am I dancing? What is the event? Is that true?
Yes, very true. Some events are booked and the schedule is to a T to the minute, and you know when your sets start, when they stop, how long you have for a break, who's escorting you if there's an escort, who's escorting you to the apparatus and back, because if it's through a party, you don't want
Yeah.
to be by yourself. Like, who's like remember to like bring shoes, like little slippers or little things to wear because the floor is disgusting and then you have to go on your silk and then be sticky of like people spilling and stuff. Who's gonna like is the person gonna time for you? Then there's other gigs that's like, are you ready? Can you do this time? Can you do this place? There are rehearsals. We're learning choreography. We're learning
Mm.
3 pieces. We're learning 1 piece. We're learning whatever. And they get it. They do everything. And that's awesome too.
Yeah. They're not just a random like party host having you come in. They're like, no, we know what's going on. I think I'm like, might be, my memory is the worst, but I'm pretty sure I went to a wedding a couple of years ago and there were 2 aerialist girlies. And then they also were serving, I think, like, I don't think they weren't like making the drinks. I think they had, or maybe it was little
Hmm.
appetizers, like and
Hmm.
so fun. I'm sure you get to mingle and meet new people, even at certain ones. I love that. Do you think that, maybe not do you think, what is one of the hardest parts about being your own boss in that way, especially, when you're not in a contract where you're like, I'm gone for 9 months and this is what it is? Are there certain things that you wish you would have known or things that you maybe learned? I don't want to say through mistakes, but maybe learned that would be helpful to know so people don't make mistakes.
Yeah. I think a major thing that I've learned is keeping the jobs really consistent. You don't like when I realized this is a thing, I need to figure out a way to be consistent with this so that it can be my job. I can make a living off of this. So that means kind of like putting on your business hat and marketing yourself, being a great representative when you're at the gig, being so lovely, so pleasant, so available for whatever they need because you're making their event happen. You're making their event amazing. So being a really good billboard for yourself.
Yeah, I love that.
I would say definitely connect with other people that are doing what you're trying to do or in the industry. What should you be getting paid? Don't undercut the rest of the industry. What are normal practices? I just had someone book me and 3 other dance friends. We're doing a little number at a wedding, and there was a change in the production, and they said, okay, we only want 3 dancers, and we want the 4th dancer to be improving for an hour at the event. And I read that and I called her up, the dancer, and I said, you better make sure you're getting breaks, that your pay reflects this extra work. Because yes, you will not be in rehearsal because you're not learning a piece. They don't want you in piece. But improving for an hour is taxing.
I can't, that sounds like my worst nightmare, to be so for real. Oh my
That's what they
God.
said. And that's and but they're not they're not
Yeah.
being malicious, they're not taking advantage, they just don't know.
Yeah.
So you have to be like, so okay, you have a time slot between 8 and 9 p.m. that needs to be filled with ambient entertainment of some kind. That dancer will be doing 15-minute sets with 10-minute breaks in between, and they need a representative or an escort to come find her, escort her back to the break room and have her break for whatever, everything taken care of for her, and then have time being kept for her so that she's then brought back out. That's what needs to happen. So,
Yeah.
and then 9 times out of 10 they're like, oh, of course, that we can make that happen.
Yeah. I think we also have to remember too the types of people or businesses like hiring this like very intimate type of people. They are just like, okay, yeah, like I mean, for lack of a better word, it's like the extra thing. So if they got money to throw at that, then like they're like, okay, yeah, we just don't know. I do love what you said about not undercutting the industry. And I've been seeing that so much lately on social media, people being like, this is what I get paid for this, or this is that. And like, I'm saying this so everyone's aware, because that's the thing I like to think about in times where I maybe feel like I might be asking for too much money or asking for too much, but that's such a good reframe of like, okay, but if I'm going to accept less pay for my work, that's now setting the precedent and example for other people. Because I've had people they'll ask me to come teach and I'm like, here's my rate. And they're like, we can't do that. We can do this. And it's like maybe like a quarter of and I'm like, well, that's a no. And it's hard because then
Yeah.
you're like, it's not that I don't want to do it, but we got to start like, and then I don't mean that in a greedy way, but it's the whole like pay what
You have
you're
to
worth.
like,
Yeah.
sometimes I will offer a breakdown of
Mm,
like totally understand why this rate is a shock, but to make you realize what goes into aerial arts and ambient sets. is I have to pay myself for rehearsals. I have to pay for the space, the point that I rent to rehearse. My costuming is a few $100s. My insurance every year is a few $100s. So I'm not only and I for my experience. So
Yeah.
I have been doing aerial for 8 years now. So if you're going to hire someone that has 2 years experience, maybe their rate is going to reflect that. Okay. But if you're going to hire me, you're going to know that you're going to get a quality performance, a quality product, someone who's honorable, someone who's going to show up on time, someone who's going to communicate, someone who's going to look the part, and someone who's really going to give a good show. And that's what you pay for. Like with you, when you teach, you're a rockhead. Like all that experience, I've done years and years and years of those training camps, years and years and years of auditions, years and years and years of my own training. I went to school for this. You're paying for all that. So yes, it's a lot up front, but it's not just me showing up and doing something. Like you're going to get the most professional experience. You're not going to worry about me and you're going to want me again because I was a pleasure. I was fun. I was interactive.
Gena, are you in sales, girl? Like what? You sold me on myself. You sold me on you, and I'm not even like this isn't even a sales call. Wow.
That's what I'm saying, and that's what I learned from talking to my peers. Like when I booked my first aerial gig a few years ago, I texted them up and I said, "Hey, I got this gig. I emailed this person and I got it. What do I do?" And they're like, "Congrats. This is what we're doing. Do not ask." They said I'm passing this down because they told me, "Do not accept anything less. Like you're starting, this is your rate. This is what I started with. This is my rate. And in a few years, you're gonna up your rate, of course, but you should start here." And they gave very transparent answers. And I was like, my reaction to their dollar amount. I was like, my gosh, are you serious? And they're like, well, yes. And then they broke down all of the things that they pay for, all of the things. And I was like, so
I mean, and that's really
it
what it
makes
is.
sense.
Yeah. And I think even if you're someone like fighting for your worth for whatever work you're trying to do, even if you don't have to get to that breakdown for the person hiring you, even I think it helps like yourself to not I feel like as artists, we're very close to that narrative that we've been taught of like the starving artist thing and that, there's just no money in it and there's whatever, but it's like, yeah, we have to live and it makes us feel wrong sometimes to like ask for that. But I think just knowing the why and being like, I'm not being greedy, like this is why. And it helps you, like you sold yourself and it didn't come across as uptight or not uptight. What's the word I'm looking for? It didn't cocky or like full of
Yeah, like
yourself. Like it just like was like, no, like this is why. And like, I'm going to give you an amazing experience. So I think that's a really important lesson for people to learn that skill. And I'm sure it took you time to be able to practice that. And you've done things and you just like trust and believe in yourself. And then you're like, here, everyone, this is what it is. So I love that. Have you, in regards to pay, I'm sure there's different types of contracts and things. And I know you've talked about payment windows and just like upholding contracts in general. What to you is reasonable relative? I know that's like a very like open-ended question, but to
totally.
whatever you want to share. Yeah.
So ideally, what's the standard is if you're doing a gig, you should be paid that day. Just like if like my sister got married, you've gotten married, you are paying the DJ that day, or you're
Mm-hmm.
paying like everything is due that day.
Yep.
So I've kind of adopted that and I've tried to, it doesn't happen every single time. Some companies will say, okay, we run payroll every 2 weeks. And if your event happens on the Sunday of the pay, you will get paid in
Mm-hmm.
2 weeks. Okay, fine. Like that's just their system.
Well,
So you
and
kind
it's
of
a
have
big
to,
company where you're like, okay, you're like, I trust you kind of thing. It's not like a one-off. Like, yeah.
yes, with ships, it's a salary, it's
Right.
automated, you get paid. Like
Yeah.
it's just every month, it's like clockwork. It's like, it's great. For that reason, it's great. When you're doing your own thing, I'm like, I literally have a notes app on my phone of the gig that I did, the date that I did it, and a little green check mark if I got paid or if I have not gotten paid yet. So if I book something, it goes right into my notes app. And then once I get that check, that Zelle, that whatever, then it gets checked off. And then I have a record of everything that I've done just in case. I need to know when something happens. But if you're getting paid, unless it's discussed and the day of. It's going to be the day of, but you should be getting paid for that. If there's a problem, that needs to be discussed before. It needs to be very transparent. Just make
Yeah.
sure, and on the finances, everything is very upfront, very transparent. You're upfront. If I don't receive a contract from the production company, I have my own that I've created, and it covers everything I want it to cover, making sure I have free or reimbursed parking, making sure the event is
Mm,
has a green room for me to warm up, making sure the event it just has like A, B, and C, lots of things that ideally in a perfect world I get. And if they sign it, they're agreeing to that and they're agreeing to the payment window that I've set. And sometimes you have to be flexible. Sometimes you have to work with the client and that's okay. But
yeah.
when people play games, when people are not upfront, when the performer is kind of wishy-washy on getting not being professional and like, okay, I did this event 2 weeks ago. When can I expect to see payment in my account? What's your timeline on that? Then you've got to also uphold your end too
Yeah.
of like, hey, I did work for you. And then you become like a collection agency and that's not fun for anyone.
No.
Not fun.
Well, it's crazy that the bridge of like having to be so business and not emotionless, but it's like it's business. Like we've been talking about how it is hard because you're doing an art, but you are literally a business. How did you go about for someone who is wanting to get into freelance or starting out? How do they go about creating that kind of document and knowing what to put into it for their specific area?
Yeah. Honestly, I'm not a huge proponent of AI, but like ChatGPT for contracts is a great start.
Yeah.
Again, I said I have a family lawyer, so everything I create, I create it in ChatGPT and I will send it to them, and they will say, you know what, this needs to be added, or there's been a couple instances where a contract is perfect, and they'll say, I don't know
Great.
why I have I don't know why I have a job, like ChatGPT is just doing it for me.
Wow.
So I use a lot of that. I make sure that um just I'm covered. Like I want to make sure that the dance floor is clean and swept of any obstructions. I want to make sure there's no holes. I want to make sure there's a clean and secure dressing room, even if it's a closet, even if it's a bathroom. Like there's a place for me to turn off and
Yeah.
warm up and check my email if I need things like that, so that it's not client facing and it's no one's seeing me.
Yeah.
I'm not picky about that necessarily. If you have equipment that you wanna, like, I have my own silk, I have my own triple trapeze, I have my own lollipop that people will rent from me, and I will make a contract on ChatGPT, and I'll just say, yeah, here's the rental agreement, here's when I need it back, here's what you'll pay. You know,
Wow. And I'm sure like after a while too, like certain things you're like, okay, I already have one like that I already used for that. Or like it kind of get almost like a template at a certain point
I
where you're like, okay,
recycle,
yeah, you're like, that's
reduce, reuse, recycle.
ridiculous.
I will just like there's a little underline of where all the little
Yeah.
like where like this date needs to be changed, this production company name
Yeah.
needs to be changed, this payment needs to be changed, and it'll just outline it. I just plug it in.
It's so many things that also is so great to hear because for some, I've never really gotten into that world. And for someone who hasn't as well, I think we also underestimate the things you might have to specify, like having no holes in the floor or having a bathroom, like
Do you want to
things
hear
like,
something?
give it
Do
to
you want to hear a
us.
story?
Yes.
I was hired for an aerial silks event. This was years ago, and I said, okay, perfect. Do you have like I was asking all the questions, and they're like, okay, arrive on site at this time, and go ahead and set up. And I said, okay. So I show up and I can see the beams in the ceiling are structural, which is great because that means it's holding up the whole building. So little old me hanging from it will be okay. But it's around Christmas time and it's like New Year's and there's stuff. Can I swear?
Yeah.
Okay. There's like shit hanging from everywhere, like little tinsel, little cute, wreaths, little things, huge balls hanging like decoratively all
Okay.
around. And I said, so where do you want me to rig? I want to hang from that. And there's a bunch of, they're
I
like,
need that.
oh, so they hired an aerialist without some place for me to rig, some place for me to do aerial.
So what happened?
I said, where do you want me to be? Because, no matter where in the space I will be, you will have to remove some of those, the decor
Hazards?
pieces. hazards. And I even remember kicking one of the tinsel things. I'm like, all right, cool. This is great. And so they said, okay, this spot will be good. Let's get the genie out, which is like this automated thing that takes you up and down.
Yeah.
Let's get the genie out and we'll have the guy come over and we'll have him like remove some things. I said, yeah, you better. I have to leave in an hour, by the way. And so they're like, okay, we're doing it. And they were great. They removed everything and it was fine. But I was just like,
The planning. Yeah. I mean,
yeah, I
listen.
mean, it's okay. It's okay. Sometimes I'll like get hired for like lollipop things and the base of the lollipop, it's
What's a
like a
lolly?
stick and
Yeah, wait, explain
it
a lollipop for everyone.
lollipop is great if you want an aerial thing for an event, but you don't have any rigging. Like there's no place
Mm,
in the ceiling for you to rig. So if they're like, "Oh, we want to hire you, but like we don't have a place," I can say, "Okay, I can do lollipop." It's an apparatus it's like a base, it's like a circular base, really big on the floor. And then there's a pole that gets screwed in
uh-huh.
and it's like it goes maybe like 4 feet in the air and then there's a lyra
Huh.
hoop on top and everything's metal. So everything's very heavy. And I'm like, well, I need 10 by 10 or 12 by 12 space because I kick around. Like it's very big and very orbity. And so a lot of times when I show up, or I'll like specify that in my contract ahead of time, I need 12 by 12 of unobstructed flat area for this event. And usually it's fine, but they'll have
Yeah.
to move couches, they'll have to move the bar. I don't know, like crazy things. I'm like, okay.
You're a hot commodity. I mean, listen, make room for the queen.
Ugh,
Wow. Do
I don't
you,
know about that.
I don't know. I mean, yeah. I know, like, I was like, oh my God, you've done so many cool gigs. So, of course, you're like posting for people like me on social media to see all the cool things you're doing. But we kind of touched on it briefly before, too, of like how social media is evolving for performers. Do you feel like you've been able to get different opportunities through social media, even rather than just word of mouth?
Yeah, absolutely. I will use my social media as sort of my business card. So I don't know. I don't have a separate aerial account or a separate dance account. Everything, I've always felt like my life is one thing.
Yeah.
It's my traveling, it's my personal life, it's my dancing, it's my aerial. I don't want to have two separate accounts because I think knowing me a little bit more personally is going to feed my performance. So if you feel like you know me and you feel like you've seen me
Yeah.
perform, then it's like, okay, she does this and it's easy, she does this. She's hired. We love her. That's what we want. But I haven't experienced this, or maybe I have, but I just don't know. But I know some castings will look at your social media following and hire you because of your follower count. Like you're really popular or so that could mean anything. I'm not on board with that necessarily. I don't love that. I think the person you are on social media is very different than the person you are at work or in a rehearsal room.
Yeah. I mean,
Just
you
because
can't
you have followers.
gauge. Yeah. You can't really gauge like how you would be in a professional work setting just from social media.
Yeah. And I don't have tons of followers at all. But think I think when you meet me and when I give you my socials to like look at me, it gives you a good rounded idea of who I am. And I
Yeah.
think that helps. So
Yeah.
I don't know if I've ever been hired from social media, but I know that it helps. Like my TikTok is just me being goofy, me being like in rehearsal, talking myself through sequences and
Yeah.
telling stories and things like that. It's not really dance videos. It's not really like
Yeah.
I don't know. Like I use it to round out my personality a little bit.
Yeah, I love that. I mean, I feel like you're always just so wise, like ahead of your time. You're I just because I feel like that's the way the world is going for especially in dance and the arts of like the whole personal branding and how it shouldn't just be here's my videos of me performing and here's like because people do want to know who they're hiring because you could be a beautiful, amazing technical dancer and then be weird and a jerk to like work with, which who
Or
wants
like
that?
be beautiful and not know how to partner. Or be
Yeah.
beautiful and not know how to speak up for yourself and not know how to be in a cast.
Or how to or have a lot of followers and actually like not be the person you are on social media. I have heard of that being more of a thing like in the LA world for like a long time now, which I agree. And I think it definitely maybe goes back to the whole corporation side of things when people are like, oh, they think that they're going to sell tickets, maybe.
But maybe it works. Like maybe in LA, maybe if
Yeah.
you have a ton of followers, maybe it's a direct correlation and maybe they don't care if you're a jerk or if you're, maybe they don't care and they just want a fierce dancer up there like shaking ass. Like maybe that's what they want. But I think in a lot of other industries, it doesn't translate.
Yeah.
A lot of other ones. So it's not that it's like a bad thing. It's definitely going to help you get hired, but just also make sure that you're a good employee and you're a good cast member and you're a good
Yeah.
person
We
too.
gotta get
And on top of it.
we gotta get an LA girly on here so we can get the real tea. Because I don't. Yeah, New York. It's like it, and probably Chicago too. It's like if you are a not good person or not good employee, that you might as well just switch career paths at that point because word travels fast and it's I don't know your pay, but like in general, I think the arts pay is not enough money to be dealing with mean people because that's just crazy to me. On that though, moving past that a little bit, it sounds like you are able to like live and maintain a comfortable income just with gigs. Are you doing any other type of work, obviously in between contracts or gigs, or is that your main source?
Yeah. I am really lucky to have in Chicago tons of studios that I've worked for in the past or work for now. Like there's one studio that I work for now that is completely new to me and I didn't know about them before. And a friend connected me and they needed a teacher in a pinch. And I said, okay, I'm home. I'm here. Why not? And I gave them my whole situation and they're like, okay, we'll hire you anyways because we need someone to take over these. So I was happy to like step in. But basically a month or so before my contract on the ship ended, I sat there and I emailed all of my production companies, all of my studios, and I said, I am coming back. I would love to work for you
Who's
again.
got work?
I would love to, who's got work, who needs it, who wants it. I can sub. Like I can be like a
Yeah.
standby sub. Let me know if you need someone last minute within the hour. Like I'm available. Like I just made it very clear like I want to go on another contract at some point, but so I can't commit to a full schedule and it's kind of in the middle of the year, but please keep me like I worked for you before or we have had a good relationship in the past. Please keep me on your sub list and I'd love to connect. And that's like it and that's worked.
She
And like
hello
I teach at
businesswoman.
one studio. I teach at one studio 1 day a week, but like looking at my schedule, I teach 4 days a week most of the day, most of the time because of just people needing subs and studios love having a person just floating so that
Yeah.
because every person that they've already hired work on a specific day for a reason. Like they can't do Tuesdays. They can only do Mondays. So they need a Tuesday person.
Yep. I
So that's
think
kind of where I
it's
come in. I've been really lucky. Really
yeah.
lucky.
Being a sub as someone who's also actively trying to perform is such an underrated way to go about it because that is like 1,000% true where I when I started teaching, like that's how I ended up getting a year job too, was I started as a sub and then people literally always need subs. And then the beauty of it is you don't have to worry about getting your classes covered and saying no to this or can I do this or not? Cause it's like, okay, this is what I can do. I think there's probably maybe some cons to that. You just have to be a little more on top of it. But what we've all learned from this episode is that Gena Brady is a businesswoman and she runs a tight ship. And well, that was a good pun. That was a good
No pun
pun.
intended.
Oh
Hey,
my gosh, she runs a tight ship. So you could totally make it happen, which
I get it
is,
done. I
yeah,
do.
she gets it done. That's
But I look
amazing.
at my week though, and I'm like, oh my God, I'm working 1 day or I'm working 2 days. But then that same week will pass and it'll be Sunday and I'll look back on the week and I'll say, I subbed last minute 4 times. I picked up a gig and
It just
I
worked.
I made money. Like it was okay. I'm not saying that's amazing and awesome and for everyone. I'd love to get at a book ships and check some things off, come back to Chicago, teach more consistently, maybe create something of my own after. So
Mhm.
this is just good for right now. And I'm
Yeah.
happy really right now. We'll see how it goes.
Because that was actually my follow-up question was it
Hmm.
like it is you could make it is great for the flexibility, but then it does come with that uncertainty. Does it ever get to you or is it just because you know it's not forever? It's like, okay, this is my life right now, so it's tolerable. Does that make sense?
Yeah, it's a little bit of both. Like I think it's not unique to anyone's, not just artist. I think everyone has a oh shit moment. Like, what am I actually doing? Like, where is it going? Like, where am I going? And I've heard so many different people on so many different spectrums of life have that conversation. So I'm like, I'm not unique for this. This is just the human experience. This is fine. And yeah, I know it's temporary. I don't know how temporary because I don't know when my next contract will be for ships. I'm kind of feeling around different companies and different auditions and different opportunities there.
Yeah.
So it's kind of a little bit of both.
I was going to say, I think it all also ties back to your upbringing of enjoying the journey and not being
Hmm.
so like end goal oriented in the way that it takes you out of the present and just like going to every audition, saying yes to things and being that person, and it just like trusting that it is going to work out. The last thing I wanted to ask you about you being your own boss in that way is how do you know when you need to rest and take time off versus push through things? And has that evolved with your age and experience? Just because it's hard when it directly how much or how hard quote you work directly correlates to your income.
Yeah. I would say there's like a hierarchy of needs. Like if it's high season, like there's definitely a high season with gigs and with events. So like Christmas time, beginning of the year, November, December, January, February is kind of high season. So you kind of just prepare for being booked a lot. And so you might feel like, oh my God, it might feel like you just got hit by a truck. Your body is just done. Like it's just so tired. But I love doing it. I love the the booking of it. Like I just love every part of it. Like someone thinks of me and they said, "Oh, we liked her. I'm gonna book." I love that. So I always try to make it work. I always try to perform as much as I possibly can. And when those types of people call, I'm like, I'm available because you know what? You treat me well and you never question my rate. And I respect your business and I love working with you. So I'm going to make this happen. If there's like fringe or vestigial things that don't need to happen, like if I'm in the gym, I don't need to be killing it in the gym when I have 4 gigs that week. I don't. I need to be training. I need to prioritize what I'm doing with my body outside of those things. Like if I need to train aerial, I need to train aerial because that's my job and that's what needs to take precedent. But like extra classes, extra physical class, like gym sessions, I'm like, okay, I do like to be consistent. So it hurts me sometimes to be like, I don't, can't go to the gym today. I gotta chill. I have a
Save my
thing tomorrow.
energy, yeah, my body.
And it's a habit. It's a habitual thing not to be a tourist, but I am very like regimented. And so when today is my gym day, I have a really hard time being like, don't go to the gym and do nothing, be at home. Like I don't know, like I don't. But I kind of prioritize it that way. Kind of work comes
Yeah.
first. It's lucky that I love working and I love booking and I love the business side and all that stuff. So it's not a chore for me.
Yeah, and you have to really love it in this industry to make it happen and have that mentality. Because if you don't, like, it is hard, like, physically, mentally, time management, all. If you had to give your younger self advice, what would it be?
My younger self, I think she knew. I think she knew more than she thought she was given credit for.
I think so too, sorry to interject, just listening.
I would I would say I would just encourage her, like, keep going, keep doing it, keep following your interests and don't leave any stone unturned. Like bother people for a job. Like keep bothering people to get it. Like my mom says this all the time. Like the what does she say? She says the squeaky wheel gets the oil.
Mm,
So be that squeaky wheel.
yeah.
Be available for little things and
My mom
I
always
think
said,
that's what I would tell her.
if you don't ask, the answer is no. So
Love that one.
it's no.
Love that one.
Yeah, like you ask and it's a no, or you don't ask and it's for sure no. Yeah. So good. My
Okay.
second closing question is if there was one key
If this sounds at all like something you want to do, great, pursue it. If there's any part of you that wants to pursue something else, do that.
mm,
Like in high school, I had an acting teacher and he said that was his quote.
mm,
He said, if you need this was so theater. If you need to do theater, if you love theater, if you have to do theater, pursue it. But if you don't, don't. Don't suffer through. Don't make other people suffer. Don't make the room miserable. Don't feel like you have to do it, because you don't. There are so many other avenues, beautiful, lovely avenues that can be art adjacent, or art next to the art, or helping the art, or funding the art, that we need. So if something else calls to you, you need to have a real to real chat with yourself and say, okay, that's okay for me. But if you do need it, and if you do need to perform, and if you do need to be on the stage and perform, you'll find a way. You'll find a way to
Yeah.
do it.
That's so good. I could not agree more with that. Gena, where can we find you and keep up with your life, but also like if we need to book you for something or all of the things?
Yes. Yeah, I think I'm at Gena Brady everywhere, GenaBrady. Professionally, I've actually been going by Genevieve because it's a little confusing, because it looks my name looks like Gina. But I've been introducing myself as Genevieve, and then later down the road, Gena kind of gets like, it's just in there. So
naturally, yeah.
yeah. So I'm Gena everywhere. Follow my TikTok, follow my Instagram.
Check our TikToks, you guys. I love it. I love a raw, unfiltered TikTok. You freaking, yeah, you nailed it. Oh, wow. Thank you for sharing so many good things that I feel like people just don't. It's like a lot of things people don't know that they don't know when they're going into things. So I hope you guys loved this episode. Let us know. Follow Gena. I will link everything in the show notes below. Thanks for kicking it real with us. We will see you next time.